Hey everybody, my name is Jaleesa Juju Fontaine, CEO of Millennium Vision Networks, LLC, where we serve to connect professionals and aspiring professionals through event and media platforms. So, for the first episode of How Networking Helped Me, we have the wonderful TV anchor of Spectrum News, Tamani Wooley.
Hello, Miss Juju. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Good. I'm great.
Awesome. So just to kind of give you guys a little background on how Tamani and I met. I actually spoke at a conference where I presented on social media, and she was probably one of the most thorough people in the audience, and she had all these different questions, and she was like honestly amazing. So we definitely stayed in touch, and that's why we're here today. So I do want to say thank you so much for constantly being in contact with me and just developing that relationship. So
thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Well, Juju's an amazing social media person, and I needed to glean your prowess with social media. So, you help each other. That's the beauty of networking. It's a win-win situation. So you were able to help me, and I was able to help you, and that's what the value of social networking is.
Thank you. Awesome. So, just kind of make things a little short. We're going to get into the first question, and that's going to be, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey throughout this career.
Well, like Juju said, my name's Tamani Wooley, and I'm an anchor in Albany. I moved up here a couple of years ago from New York City. Much to my friends in New York City's chagrin, they didn't know what I was going to be able to do up in Albany after leaving the city, but there's plenty to do up here. I fell into reporting, actually. I fell into TV journalism. I was a theater major in undergrad and just had, Broadway lights in my eyes. Right around the .com boom, I was introduced to a video streaming company, fell in love with it, was doing all kinds of great stories in New York City, red carpet movie premieres and restaurant openings and all things NYC. Decided it was for me, went to grad school and worked my way up from internships and being a news assistant at New York One to the anchor desk.
Okay, check you out. So I'm really big on school pride, so please tell me what schools you went to.
My undergrad, I went to the University of Delaware, so I am a blue hen. And then for graduate school, I went to LIU Brooklyn.
Okay, so that's why you were in the city. There we go. All right. So it goes into the next question. And my biggest thing in terms of this career field is, what is the access like for people who are African American who want to get into this? So what were some pros and some cons?
I think, you should never let who you are or your race, your sex, or your gender keep you from going after any of your dreams. So we all know when you're an African American or a person of color, you have to be twice as good to get half as far. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't matter what career field you're in. Just expect that that's going to be the status quo. And if you go in with the mindset of being excellent in all you do, you can make it anywhere. You just have to believe in yourself. You have to not allow people to put limitations on you.
Right.
And I think that goes, like I said, across the board for any career field. But definitely, I think one thing people need to know if they want to be a broadcast journalist is that you have to know your market.
Right.
When you go to different territories around the country, you'll definitely see where African Americans are more marketable. I'm more marketable in New York, in Atlanta, in Georgia, in certain places, Houston, as opposed to Rhode Island,
right.
Or maybe Northern California or the Dakotas. So just be mindful of that, and I think you'll go far.
Awesome, thank you. So the other day I learned that there's a difference between, being a TV reporter and being a TV anchor. So would you mind kind of just clearing up the difference?
Sure. So when you're a reporter, you go out into the field. Those are the people you see out in the storms, out at the different scenes when there's fires and things like that.
I won't be there.
Holding the microphone, looking at the camera, telling you a story and getting sound from people. We call those sound bites in the business. The anchor is the person that you see in the newsroom behind the desk. That kind of is the through line for the newscast. They're the ones that are giving you all the different stories, and we call it tossing to the reporter who's out in the field. So I do both. I love anchoring, but I also love being in touch with people.
Nice.
So I like still being able to have my hand in the community.
And I can definitely secondhand that and say she is one of the most personable individuals I have ever met. So you definitely want to stay in touch with all that she's doing. But we'll get into the social media later. But my next question for you is, what keeps you inspired? Because being so, I guess, fully committed to your career is very easy to lose yourself. So who are some figures that you look up to kind of stay sane?
Well, first, my faith is really big. I think you have to be grounded and know that every day is a gift and a blessing. So that helps me a lot, especially in a business where you get recognized. Sometimes if you don't know who you are or whose you are, it can go to your head. And this is what I do, it's not who I am. you know, and I'm very blessed to be in this career and to be able to do something that I love. But I would say one thing is don't let your career define you.
Right.
You know, you're so much bigger than that. It's a big part of you, but who are your friendships? You know, who are your relationships?
Right.
What feeds you when you go home at the end of the day?
Right.
You need to have that balance. A work-life balance, guys, is so huge. So don't forget that, especially as women. I think we feel like we have to have one or the other, and that's not true. You can figure out a way to balance both. And getting up and being challenged every day. The good thing about what I do is I'm not behind a desk 9 to 5 doing the same thing. So I get to get challenged on a daily basis. And I love that. Finding a new story, a new person who's making a difference in the community is exciting.
Nice. Thank you so much for that. Wow. I feel like I've changed my career path.
No!
Oh my goodness. I feel like I need to do something so different.
No, you millennials are in such an amazing time in this country. You guys can have your hands in so many different things.
That is
And
so true.
you know what? Whether you're on Instagram or YouTube, they're forms of journalism.
Right.
You know, so you're being journalists on your own.
That's true. So maybe I should go into medical communication or medical journalism.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do multiple things.
Okay.
Multiple streams of income is going to be huge for you guys.
That is
Remember
very
that.
true.
Multiple streams of income.
And I know you guys hear about this on Love and Hip Hop. Real estate, your main career,
Yeah.
all kinds of different things that you can do to kind of put money and put food on the table, all right? Awesome. So my next thing is, Atlanta Vision Networks, we place a very high emphasis on the importance of networking. Because once again, we always hear the famous quote, it's not what you know, but it's who you know and who's going to give you access to opportunity. So my thing is, what kind of networking skills have you used to navigate throughout this career?
I think you have to stay in touch with people. A lot of times I think we drop the ball on follow-up. We'll meet somebody, we'll have a nice rapport, we'll exchange business cards or contact information, and then we don't follow up.
That is true.
Or worse, we follow up only when we want something.
Right.
And I have quite a few friends in the business who say that. They've met somebody at a journalism conference. There's the National Association of Black Journalists, and we have a conference in August of every year. And you know, it's a great way to network. I just came from it this year, was in Detroit.
Okay.
And you meet so many people and people who are willing to take time to invest in you and to look at your reel. And a reel in the journalism world is a video resume. So it's just different segments of the work that you've done.
Right.
And they give you feedback and they give you your card and they tell you, you know, please keep in touch with me.
Right.
And then we don't do it. But a year later, 6 months later, when you want a job, all of a sudden you get an email. And that's, you know, sometimes that's off-putting to people. So hello and thank you email goes a long way. Still a handwritten thank you note goes a long way.
Yes.
But when you meet people, follow up.
Right.
Follow up, and not just when you need something, just to say thank you, I appreciated your time.
So with that being said, to anybody who's ever done anything for me or helped me get this far, I do want to say thank you. If I didn't say it enough before, I'm saying this now because Tamani made me feel a little guilty. So if I ever took your business card and I didn't reach out, this is me saying thank you for inspiring me, even though I didn't reach out. So thank you for that. I'm going to get to the last question. And one thing I've realized about people who are also trying to get into these career fields is, you know, there's all sorts of things that people tell you that you need to do, but they don't really kind of pave the way for you to do so. So what's some advice that you can give to, like, you know, your future generation of journalists?
If you want to be a journalist, the first thing I would say is get into a good journalism-based school, but you want to make sure that that journalism school has a TV production studio, because it's not a theoretical field, right? You learn hands-on.
Right.
I would also say get an internship within your first 1 to 2 years, because that's the way you're going to know if it's something you really want to do.
Right.
This job is not as glamorous as it looks. I know people see you on TV, but I've been in storms for 14 hours. You know, I've covered tough stories of murder and fires, and you know, I've had to knock on the doors of parents who just lost a kid and when a drunk driver hit and killed them. So it's not glamorous. It's hard work. It can be long days. It's doing your due diligence and checking your facts and going the extra mile to make sure that you have the story correct. And the only way you're going to know if that's something you want to do is to do some kind of internship and to see it and experience it hands-on. And I say that for any career, whether you want to be a teacher, if you want to be in the medical field, try to get into the hospital room. Try to get into a classroom as soon as you can, because it's only when your feet are on the ground that you're going to know whether or not it's for you. And then if it's not, it's great, because if you're in school and you find out in your freshman or sophomore year, you still have time to, to change your career and change course. It's tough to do that when you're in your senior year, you've already graduated.
Yeah, that's so true.
One of the things that was very influential in my career is I had a mentor. Her name is Cheryl Wills, and she's an anchor at New York One News. A wonderful African-American woman who really would take all of us under her wing. And she poured into me. I went to her and I asked if she would look at my reel, if she would look at my work, and she said yes. And for months, I mean, she would say, nope, okay, this is good, now you got to work on this. This works, now you got to work on that. And I would bring her my tape religiously. I would make changes that she suggested. I humbled myself. I didn't take criticism personally. Guys, trust me, you cannot take feedback personally. When you get that mentor, please take what they have to say to heart and take it that it's coming from a good place. They just want you to get better. It's not personal. So just humble yourself, take the feedback, make the adjustments, because when Cheryl said I was ready, I showed my tape and I got my first job.
Wow. See? There you have it. Mentorship is key, everybody. Networking is key, all right? Well, thank you. Thank you for all of those gems. So you heard from her, all right, everybody? Once again, Tamani Wooley, TV anchor of Spectrum News.
Proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
That too.
Hit me up, Tamani Wooley TV on Twitter and Tamani Wooley on Instagram. Juju is helping me do all this, everybody. You millennials are the best when it comes to social media.
And it's
I
only
love
because she taught me a lot. That's the only reason why. So like I said, it's always a mutual thing, everybody. Always find someone who's willing to mentor you in different ways, and it's always a mutual benefit, because it's always something that you can learn from someone who's younger than you as well, right? So always try your very best to develop these relationships. Always seek out mentorship. Like I said before, mentorship is the only thing that's going to get you to where you need to be, all right? So if someone's in a certain platform that you want to be one day, that's who you need to look for, all right? But before we wrap this up, I do have 3 brief questions. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Beyonce or Alicia Keys?
Why are you putting me on the spot like that? Can I say pass on that one? Probably Beyonce, because I like her first couple of albums.
Same. Dangerously in Love?
Yes.
That's the first album I ever bought.
Classic Beyonce, definitely. And Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
Brings me back, to
Same.
college days. Can I say that? Am I dating myself? Okay.
No, you're fine.
All right.
Second, Thailand or Jamaica?
Thailand, only because I've been to Jamaica.
Okay.
And I like to travel and explore. And can I say, if you're a person of color and if you're a student of color, take advantage of your school's travel abroad. You will never get an education about our culture as African Americans like you will overseas. It's amazing how influential African culture has been to the whole world.
That is true. That's one thing I didn't do. I didn't study abroad, so I definitely want to emphasize that. Please do so.
Yeah.
And my last question. You ready? Soul food or Caribbean food?
No, these are unfair questions. Well, you write into her and tell her she can't ask these kind of questions? Because who can choose?
Have to choose.
I can't, because it depends on the mood I'm in. Up here, I love Allie B's soul food.
I've heard of that. Okay.
She's really good right over in Arbor Hill. Amazing.
We need to go there.
Yes, you absolutely do. Have not found a good Caribbean spot here yet. But when I was in the city,
Richie Rich.
What?
Richie Rich.
And those and a good roti. What?
Yes.
With the good curry chicken, and then I get so when I go back to the Bronx, when I travel through the Bronx, to get to Albany, I stop at my roti spot. I do.
It's on Burke. The Burke Avenue one?
Yes.
Yes. I used to live over there.
Oh, okay.
That's the only place I ever got my rotis from. There you go. See, everybody, come to the Bronx. The Bronx is indeed glamorous. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So with that being said, I do want to say thank you so much to Tamani Wooley for being here with me. You know I love you more. Come on. This is my girl.
We're pink for her.
We're here.
Love her.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in to Millennium Vision Network LLC's first episode of How Networking Helped Me. I hope you guys stay tuned for future episodes, and we'll continuously bring amazing professionals like Tamani on this show where you guys can learn how to create a better future for yourselves. So thank you guys so much. Stay great.